During the First World War, men and women serving in Europe sent millions of postcards home to Canada. Well, now a new project at Western University has taken hundreds of those postcards and mailed them back to the original Canadian addresses that received them to remind people that this historic event is not so far removed from our present day. For more this morning, we are joined by Jonathan Vance. He's a professor of history at Western University and lead of the First World War Postcard Project. Jonathan, great to meet you. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Thanks for having me.
I love this comparison that you've set up for us. You say that postcards were used from 1914 to 1918 in the same way that we use text messages today, although I would argue that they're far more personal and romantic. Why did you choose to focus on postcards?
Well, simply that, because that was how people communicated. The mail was very efficient. You would get delivery the next day, usually. And so if you were going to visit and needed to be picked up at the train station, if you wanted someone to buy some milk for you, if your grandmother was sick, you just send a postcard. It was the way people communicated. So it's a nice way to return to that old means of contact.
And there's something so telling about even people's personalities and how they write and the postcards that they chose. What inspired you to start this project?
Well, I've been collecting these postcards for probably 30 years at Western University, and they had been residing in very neat file folders at my office. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if other people could enjoy these too? And so as I looked at them, I realized that maybe we could put them back in the mail and re-deliver them. And that was really the genesis of it. We decided that the postcards had been delivered once to this address in 1914, 1918. Why not re-deliver them and let the current owners of these houses rediscover the same history? It's
such a simple but special idea. What's been the response so far?
It's been really wonderful. People first response is they're surprised that anyone's bothered to do this. But when they get over the surprise, they're fascinated to know who lived in their house. I think everyone is curious to know who lived in their house before. And to have a connection with where they live now to such a major historical event as the First World War, I think it really strikes a chord with people. We're such
a culture that loves to share stories, and we don't have a long history in this country, so it's really neat you've made that connection for people. You know, when you talk about going through postcards, this is not a small collection. My understanding is you've read thousands and thousands of these over the years. What message is it that you want people to take away from this project?
Yeah, we had about 15,000 postcards to sort through and pick the right ones. And what comes out most strongly is the importance of maintaining connections with home and family. These were written from training camps, from overseas, sometimes quite close to the battlefield. And what was most important to these men and women in uniform was keeping up with what was happening at home. That was their lifeline. And so it gives you a real good sense of how critical people's own community was to their sense of sanity, their sense of survival. This is what made them go on, the realization that they could return home sometimes. So gives us a nice glimpse at how important that was to this generation.
You say glimpse, and that's such a great word, because as I've been reading up some of the postcards that you let us share, you all of a sudden get this picture in your mind of like what it felt like for somebody to receive something on the battlefield, or how they were thinking about back home. Do you have a story that stands out to you?
What you see a lot is people think of a postcard when they write them as kind of second best to a letter. And what they want to do is remind the person that they're okay. So it serves as a sense of security, I guess, which is really interesting. And the other thing that I like is a lot of them will say, P.S., keep this as a souvenir. I want these after the war. These will be nice to hang on to. So they see this as first an immediate means of communication, but also a way to document this major experience. So I think what we're doing is helping them to keep these as souvenirs and keep them circulating.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're speaking into the future. Listen, I love stories in all mediums, and this is a very special one. Jonathan, great to meet you, and thanks for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.